Can we sit here and make videos and order tacos?
Yeah, let's order tacos. I want tacos. Yo, Four Winds, send us some free tacos. All right, episode 3 of Three's Company, because it's episode 3. Or the Triforce, because it's episode 3. Or Fact You Asking Me. Or more things I don't know.
3 wrongs don't make a right.
3 lefts don't make a right. Wrongs in the 3 wrongs don't make a left. Wrong, right. Rights don't make to the power of right. To the power of 3? What? What else is a good name? Still in the same space. I got a different shirt on. These guys, because they're pretty cool. And I got to play like a $5,000 left-handed Les Paul that I'll never be able to afford. And more Star Wars coffee mugs. But I'm running out, so if you could send your Star Wars related coffee mugs here, I will use them. First question comes from 52. And that's perfectly phonetically pronounced. I recently bought a 12-string Seagull acoustic, and it comes with a non-compensated saddle. Checking out other 12 strings, I've noticed some have straight saddles, like mine, and others have compensated saddles. I'm wondering why that is, and also would like to know if you carry compensated 12-string saddles. Please advise. We do. The thing with 12-string saddles is most companies use the same saddle for both 6-string and 12-string, so the compensation is the exact same. And for Seagull, is the builder of Seagulls, and Simon and Patrick, and also Norman. 2 completely different dudes. They don't know each other. They also build for them, as well as Godin and a couple other Canadian companies as well. But we make one specifically for them, the PQ 9281, which is very similar to the 9280, but just looks more Canadian. I don't know. So yeah, that one will work for 12-string and 6-string. Okay, here's one from Gillies Van Loaki. Hi, I've got a PVT 25 guitar. It needs a new nut. I would also like a Black Tusk XL. How do I English? How do I words? I have a PVT 25 guitar. It needs a new nut. I would like a Black Tusk nut from Graphtec. I have the problem that the slot is the same, or looks like the same slot on a Strat type guitar. But the guitar has a Gibson-like fretboard radius. Which nut should I buy? So what he's talking about is most of our Strat style or Fender style or F style nuts usually will have a 9.5 inch radius, which is a rounder Fender style radius. And Gibson will have a flatter, like 16, 14 to 18 inch radius. Most of our Strat style 1/8 inch thick nuts are 9.5, except for a few of them. So you'll want the PT 5042, which has a 12 inch radius, and that's what the radius on that guitar is. Should be good to go. This one is from Mike, no last name, just the Mike. I have an Agile 727 Scepter guitar that I want to change the nut on, and I've been hearing good things about this company. Is there one of the pre-cut nuts you guys sell that would work for the proper neck width and string spacing for this guitar? Or am I going to have to buy a blank one and have it cut to fit? Yes, we do the 6748, which is a nut that like Schecter, ESP, LTD use. It's a pretty standard nut for a lot of 7 strings at a 1/4 inch thick. And that one, I think it's 1 7/8 overall length. That's what that guitar is. So yeah, that'd be a good starting point. Just make sure to compare the specs that are listed there with the ones that are on your guitar. But we've worked with Agile. Go with that one. 6748. That one. We did it. We got an easy one for me. This one's from Chris Green. Ha! I have a Japanese Fender Strat that measures 39 millimeters, the full width of the nut. It's approximately 33 millimeters E to E and about 3 millimeters front to back. Is there a pre-cut nut that fits that size, or do I have to order a blank and have it shaped? Thanks. Thanks, Chris. Well, I'm Justin. Yeah, I think he meant a comma in there. The PQL 5000 is usually what we recommend for a lot of Fender style guitars. I call it a Swiss Army nut because it works in most F-style guitars. The 5010 is very similar, except it's got a flat bottom as opposed to the convertible which is what that little tab right there is for, so that you can sand that off and it'll have that 9.5 radius, which is what the slot will be, same as the fretboard. The 5010, it's a little longer overall, but it actually has a narrower string spacing. So it's 34.5, I believe. The thickness and string spacing are pretty much bang on. 1 or 2 millimeters string spacing difference. Keep in mind that's going to be spread between all 6 strings, so not going to notice any real difference. And if you can notice difference in 1 millimeter of string spacing, you might have superpowers. So go on tour with that, man. It's awesome. Okay, next question. This one's from Terry. Terry has a Taylor T5Z. That's how we say Z's here in Canada and other places. That's how you say it. The zebras. Hey there, what is a suitable saddle for my Taylor T5Z? Thanks. So Taylor pretty much exclusively buys the PQ 9200 from us, and that will be the one that you want. This isn't interesting or snappy, but that's what you want. Most Taylors. Why is the internet so garbage? All right, this one's from Brian Griesbach. I have locking tuners on several of my electric guitars, and they're great. No, he has ratio locking tuners. There's a difference. I have ratio locking tuners on several electric guitars, and they are great. I want a set for my acoustic, but I don't see any acoustic locking options. It appears that the G string ratio is the only difference. Can you make a set of locking acoustic tuners? Oh, yes, we can. We only have them in chrome and gold because that's all that really we've had orders for any OEMs or builder customers. No black. Just black isn't a very popular finish for acoustics. So we do have them available. So just shoot us an email at sales@graphtech or Justin@graphtech. And yeah, you're right. The only difference is the G string. It's a different gear ratio for that because it's a wound G on acoustics. So that throws all the math off. But yeah, we can do it, and it's a thing we have. All right, this one's from Rook Dr. C. Roo Dr. C. He's a Australian kangaroo doctor, and the C stands for cardiologist. I've got a lot of conflicting information. Do you make Tusk electric saddles for a Squire Bullet hardtail? If so, what's the product number? We do. Well, the Tusk ones, same material as our Tusk nuts and saddles for acoustics, but for electrics. A lot of guys wanted them for their Tune-o-matic to replicate a nylon saddle, but have it not completely dead in your strings, be more reliable and more resonant. So we made the Strat style saddles out of Tusk as well, and those would be the PQ 8000. Now the thing with the 8000s, there's 2 sizes. There's the 8000 and the 8000 F0. The F0 for fat. They are a wider 2 3/16 inch spacing, and the 00s are the more modern, more common 2 1/16 string spacing at the bridge. Just measure from the center of your first slot to the center of the 6th slot, and you'll be able to figure that out. Worst case scenario, if you can't figure out which is which, just go with the 8000 00s because they'll fit no matter what. If you do have a bridge plate with the wider spacing, they will still fit, and your string spacing won't change at all. There'll just be a tiny little gap in between each saddle, which won't affect the playability or tuning stability or anything like that. And then of course we have the String Saver version, which is pretty much the same thing, a couple of little extra ingredients, but the main one being PTFE or Teflon that are impregnated into the saddle, so they're permanently lubricated and you will just stop breaking strings, like period. It is middle of February right now. I have the same set of strings on my Les Paul since September 1st, and they're dead. They don't sound great, but they're not broken. And I am not polite with my guitar at all. At all. You'll probably want the 8000 00s. I know Squires don't usually do a lot of wider vintage spec space guitars, so those are the ones you'll probably want to go with. Last question from Chuck Stevens. See, I'm on a roll today.
The names are so simple.
Yeah. Chuck Stevens is looking for a 3/32 wide by 2 3/4 saddle for an Epiphone acoustic electric, the AJ40T TLC-NA. So tender love and care is not applicable. That's how I treat my guitars. Yeah, for something like that, the 9110, that's the Martin style one. Still fully compensated, and it'll still work on your Epiphone, and it's pretty much exactly those measurements. So yeah, you're good to go. Don't kick the camera.
Why not?
Cause I like it just so. So yeah, that was episode 3. Episode 3. Oh, right. Yeah, leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think. These are going to be the first 3 testers. Tell a friend. Or don't. Whatever. If we get enough questions, I'll give them more answers. And if you want me to go away, I'll answer more questions. If you want me to stay, I'll also answer. See, like there's no getting rid of me. It's it. It's on the internet. Can never be taken down. So yeah, email us at whatever@graphtech.com. This guy knows a bunch of stuff. This guy knows even more. And if you got other questions, just yell them at the screen right now. I'll hear you. Yeah, 6010. No, we don't make those. They're stupid. Go away. Yeah, I guess we could do that. Sure. Call me in a week.